Positive Spin, presenting positive, innovative, and solution-oriented news from around the world. On today's program, we'll hear an address on the importance of peace education from Federico Mayor, former Director General of UNESCO. And we'll learn about global citizens' vitally important work to achieve the end of extreme poverty around the world. After that, we'll see a profile of environmentalist Teresa Vicente, recipient of the 2024 Goldman Environmental Prize. And we'll experience the ways that refugees are changemakers. Then we'll hear a message from actor Patrick Stewart highlighting the plight of refugees around the world. And we'll visit the musician Matt Venuti, artist in residence at the Shenandoah National Park in Virginia. Finally, we'll hear some personal messages of peace.
Our next presenter believes humanity should take the easy way. The path toward peace, he says, is much easier than the path toward war and confrontation. Federico Mayor Zaragoza is founder and the president of the Foundation for a Culture of Peace, Fundación Cultura de Paz. He also started Ubuntu, a forum of civil society networks around the world. As the Director General of UNESCO, he launched a Culture of Peace program that addressed education for peace, human rights, and democracy, ending poverty, cultural diversity, and conflict prevention and resolution. UNESCO, he says, is the conscience of the United Nations. Through his powerful vision and generosity of spirit, Mr. Mayor remains the conscience of UNESCO. It is my distinct honor to introduce you to Federico Mayor Zaragoza.
In 1945, the United Nations, they have this first phrase of the Charter, we the peoples. And we the peoples have resolved to save the succeeding generations from the horror of the war. All human beings are equal in dignity. And now we are not only progressively equal, but what is really fantastic, now we can express ourselves. Because with the mobile telephone, we can express ourselves. And we can say what we think. And therefore, we can change the world. For this, I consider that it is extremely relevant to have this transition from a culture of imposition, of domination, to a culture of dialogue, of conciliation, of listening, a culture of alliance and a culture of peace. 40 years ago was not feasible. Now is possible. Now because we are all equal, we recognize that we are all equal in dignity, whatever is our sexual sensibility, our ideology, our beliefs, we are all equal, but we can express. For the first time in history, we can now express what we think. This is to be educated at higher level. I think that the Peace Education Day is a very good initiative because we must be educated at all levels, not only for the children. Peace Education Day is for all the human beings. Is to tell them, now we cannot remain silent anymore. Now we must say that today is feasible to change many things, but we cannot be silent. We cannot be, as in Europe, with Ukraine, Europe is silent. Why we are not a democratic multilateral European Union? Why we are not a democratic United Nations? I have already discovered the solution is to consult with the African women. You know, what a wonder. They have this serenity and they smile when they are talking with you and they give you the good advice to go ahead. And it's for this that I started the declaration on culture of peace. The first was in Yamoussoukro, in the very heart of Africa, in Ivory Coast. after this, I had the immense advantage of being very good friend of Nelson Mandela. You know, when I visited him, he was already in prison 26 years. And when I left the prison, I was free because I said, what a wonder. This man says that to forget is impossible, but to forgive is feasible. Very difficult sometimes, but feasible. And he was able to forgive. And he was able to tell us that we must work for a culture of peace and not for a culture of force and a culture of war. Now we can create a democracy in the United Nations, in a multilateral system, in Europe, in the United States, a real democracy. It means that we must accept that all the human beings are equal, and we must listen to all the citizens, and not only some of them. Some years ago, this was not feasible, and I think that now is feasible. And it is for this that I consider that to study and to have Peace Education Day as you wish, today is feasible not only to take into account peace in the earth, but peace with the earth. What is happening in the Arctic and the Antarctica, we cannot accept anymore this. I hope that we will be able, before long, to have a multilateral system in which the presidents that will have, in a democratic way, in their hands, of the reins of the power, and not the military complex. We can participate, and participate is the essence of democracy. And it is for this that I consider that now we can be hopeful. And to be hopeful is essential to change the things. If you think that it is nothing to do, that we are at this moment, we cannot go ahead. But I think that now, yes, now we can say we the people, because we exist already, have resolved to save the succeeding generations from the horror of the war. Now we can promise this. Why? Because we can educate also for peace from the very beginning. Because until now we were thinking that peace was only one thing of the arms and no. Peace is first of all a personal thing. Peace in yourself, peace in your family, peace in with your friends. And we must tell all the people, please do not be a spectator of what happens. You must be actor of your life. You must be actor of your surroundings. You must be actor in the frame of your family, in the frame of your university, in the frame of your friends. We must be actors, not only spectators of what happens.
Global Citizen is a movement for change, a community to improve the world, a gathering point for the people and organizations who want to end extreme poverty by 2030. Global Citizen is committed to bringing you the most interesting stories, effective actions, and powerful campaigns.
Learn about these issues, pick one, and just commit. The impact we've seen people make so far exceeds their own expectations.
Global Citizen enables individuals to take part in global development through on- and offline activism. Each action taken earns reward points for major events and your favorite artists.
Every year, this kind of, mixture between pop and policy comes together, and we see that the action button is the next evolution in our journey.
The action button allows newsreaders to participate in the stories they care about, to make taking action accessible, fast and easy, securing real and effective outcomes for the world's poor.
This is going to have a global influence, and as we are becoming increasingly a global company, now already in 13 countries, this button is going to be available in every country, on every article where people can take action.
The actions of individual global citizens is what builds a movement. But together as a community, we strengthen campaigns from our partners, who are the most effective organizations out there. As a community, we find focus points to rally together and reward global citizens who have taken action. When we're together, we can amplify our collective voice to demand commitments from leaders of today to make the world of tomorrow.
I believe that we can speak with one voice.
There was this mass of humanity interested, engaged, listening, applauding, cheering. Really, it was a magnificent, unique event.
This is what Global Citizen does. It brings together engaged individuals, the thinkers shaping our ideas, the organizations implementing the change we want, and the leaders capable of sustaining that change in the world we are all demanding. In short, it's a world where we can all be proud to live. Global Citizen needs you to build this world. Will you take action?
The Mar Menor, or Little Sea, is Europe's largest saltwater lagoon. Its turquoise waters and exquisite flora and fauna once made it an ecological treasure along Spain's Mediterranean coast. Its natural beauty also made it a hotspot for vacationers and developers. In the surrounding countryside, industrial agriculture rapidly replaced traditional farming, with production largely for export.
El modelo de desarrollo de esta región desde los años 50.
The development model of this region since the 1950s is to see the Mar Menor as a dump and as a source of profit.
In 2019, storm runoff laden with chemical fertilizers flooded the lagoon, triggering an algae bloom that consumed the oxygen in the water. Fish by the millions died from suffocation.
Fue el grito de muerte.
It was this death cry of the Mar Menor that prompted me to act.
Teresa Vicente is a law professor at the University of Murcia. Environmental law is her expertise and her passion.
Since 1986, I have been fighting for the paradigm of ecological justice. Human rights don't make sense to me without the rights of nature.
Teresa began to shape a plan to secure those rights for the Mar Menor. If she succeeded, the lagoon would be granted the same legal rights and protections as people, enforceable in a court of law. Her novel approach hinged on a constitutional provision that lets citizens propose a law directly to Parliament. She began sharing her plan with the community. In the fall of 2020, she submitted the first draft of her bill to Parliament. But there was a problem. The process required that she collect 500,000 signatures.
Todo sucede durante el COVID.
Everything happened during the COVID-19 pandemic. Sometimes we had to run because the police wouldn't let us stay. But we never stopped collecting signatures.
Teresa worked tirelessly to spread the word, harnessing the support of citizen volunteers and 185 environmental, cultural, and tourist organizations across Spain.
Cuando empezamos este movimiento nos trataban de locas.
When we started this movement, people thought we were crazy. But little by little, people began to join us.
By August of 2021, with just 2 months before the deadline, Teresa still needed 200,000 signatures. Then the Mar Menor cried out again.
Fish, mollusks, and all the life in the lagoon jumped out and died at our feet. They were saying to us, "You didn't even leave us oxygen to breathe."
The scale of the disaster sparked major protests. with 70,000 people joining hands in a collective hug around the lagoon.
We said, "We are all the Mar Menor." And that hug was accompanied by signatures. I remember we were driving around Madrid shouting out the window of the car, "We got 640,000 signatures!"
In 2022, in a landmark victory, Parliament overwhelmingly approved the bill, which soon became law. In a first for Europe, the legal rights of personhood will now protect the Mar Menor from harmful human activities and guarantee remediation of environmental damage.
The central government has a plan for the recovery of the Mar Menor. There is still intensive agriculture and construction going on. But the fact that Mar Menor is now going to defend its rights through the voices of citizens changes everything.
Teresa's historic campaign to save the Mar Menor sets an important precedent for environmental protection and the rights of nature throughout the world.
It is a vision of hope for all life on Earth. And I think the Mar Menor is very proud of us.
For outstanding environmental achievement for Europe, the 2024 Goldman Environmental Prize is awarded to Teresa Vicente, Murcia, Spain.
What comes to mind when you hear the word refugee?
That's a really hard question.
I get it. You need some inspiration.
I think they're brave.
Resilient.
Hardworking. Those are good ones. But don't forget about our influence on culture. I mean, look at this food.
We're looking for safety.
Poverty. Mazloom.
Sure, that's one part of the story, and an important part. But it's not the whole picture.
One more, Stephanie, ready.
Let me show you what I mean. We are lawmakers.
And the first refugee to serve in the Colorado State House.
We are raising our families, all while keeping the world informed.
سلام زهرا شهید هستم شما را دعوت می‌کنم.
We create art on stages small and large. We are Oscar winners and dream makers. So yes, refugees are
innovative,
people in need, heroic.
But there's a lot more to it than that. There are more displaced people in the world than ever before because of conflict, climate change, and economic turmoil. But that's not stopping us from shaping policies, art, traditions, and futures in countless ordinary and extraordinary ways.
Hello, I'm Patrick Stewart. Did you know that right now over 70 million people have had to leave their homes due to war and disaster? That's roughly the size of the United Kingdom. I can't imagine what it would be like to have to suddenly leave my home, where to take my family, how to survive, and most importantly, who will help us? Well, the answer is the International Rescue Committee. This wonderful organization was Albert Einstein's genius idea. They focus on the world's toughest places, Syria, Yemen, South Sudan, and deliver food and shelter, medical care. They also bring education and job training and work to rebuild communities. Please join me in supporting the International Rescue Committee. They help families just like yours and mine to survive, recover, and live their lives with hope and dignity.
My name is Matt Venuti, and I'm originally from New York State, which is a small town called Geneva, New York, and I lived in San Francisco for 30 years. Most of my music career was in San Francisco, and for the past 10 years, I've been on the road. My inspiration comes from many places, but I'm a road musician, so a lot of it is from the road. I call it songs from the rhythm of life in the heart of the road. I was looking for something new, something acoustic, something that I could carry around with me, and I started asking friends, and they told me about this. Somebody had seen an early version of this instrument called the hung, and one thing led to another. I found myself in Bern, Switzerland, getting to know the makers of the instrument, and this became my new love in a sense, and it kind of changed my whole style of music. I started to go back into my singer-songwriter self with just kind of more reflective music and music about nature, music about, like I say, the rhythm of life. I would come through the park and just dream about being able to stay here and be able to make some videos and record. So I looked up Shenandoah National Park Artist in Residency, and I found that you have one. People love to be around artists, they really do. Whether you're a musician or a visual artist, they want to see what you're up to. If you feel shy about that or don't like that, that's fine too, from what I understand, depending on the artist in residency. So I would just say find the place that inspires you the most and fill out the application. Make it happen. It just touches my heart so much to look out and look at this valley, for one thing, and just look at these beautiful, gentle, rolling hills that look like waves in the mist. Shenandoah National Park in this part of Virginia that always just touched my heart. I would come through, stay for a little while, and it just hit me in a very, very positive, wonderful way, and it's inspired some beautiful music.
Why is peace important? From my point of view, I think we are all descendants. We are created by God. We are not different between each other, despite our skin color, despite our race, despite our religions. So we are coming from the same lineage, and it's no, because you cannot fight with your families. Everybody is families based on that. So it's really sad to think now when people are talking about war, people talking about genocide, people talking about killing each other, but in the end you are killing your own brother, you are killing your own sister, you are killing your own families. So that's why I hope we really need world peace now, despite all of this haywire, despite all of this genocide, war. It's really bad for our earth. So thank you very much, and I hope for world peace.
Name?
My name is Hafiz, I'm from Kuala Lumpur. Peace.
Thank you.
What does peace mean to you?
Man, are you kidding me? He's all about peace. What's happening in the country at the moment. Peace is the answer. Love is the answer. I got that from Louis Armstrong. Love. We all need some more love in our lives. All our lives. Everybody has the same right to be here. Everyone has the same ticket to the same golf life. And we should be respectful of each and every
Thank you for watching Positive Spin. This show is made possible through the generosity of the Patty and Jack Wright Foundation and the Prem Rawat Foundation. Watch us on Free Speech TV, watch and subscribe to our previous episodes on YouTube, and follow us on Facebook and other online platforms. I'm Bill McCarthy. Stay safe and healthy, and remember, everyone can create their own positive news.